The first ever catastrophic bushfire warning in Queensland, Australia, prompted a large-scale evacuation on Wednesday. The main town and the threat was spared, but the intensity of fire conditions has caused concern as the sky blackened and her houses winnowed in the smoke. Feeling Zamlikov debated the very last minute she could remain at home. Ferocious winds were flipping embers from a bushfire towards her. The smoke was so intense it was like a volcano had gone off, she said, but she and her adult daughter, Anjan, were trying frantically to load the horses into a vehicle. Unsettled, the animals were resisting. Ultimately the pair, along with 3 elderly relatives, made a choice to leave. Ms. Zamlikov put her phone number on slips of paper and tied them to the horses' manes to drive away and not know what we would come home to, whether the animals would survive. It was a heartbreaking decision, she told the BBC. Fortunately, all of the horses survived. The family were among as many as 8. Locals who evacuated from the Queensland town of Gracemere late on Wednesday after receiving an evacuation order. This fire was just something that has never happened to us before, Ms. Zamlikov said. But we are in drought, and everything around us is dry. Lance Jones, a farmer, said he had never witnessed such panic in the town in his 30 years living there. 3 years ago, Gracemere was among the towns battered by a powerful cyclone, which left widespread damage, but Mr. Jones said that a natural disaster had not scared us to the point of evacuation. Ms. Zamlikov and her family stayed at a motel in nearby Rockhampton as fire crews battled through the night. We have saved the town of Gracemere, Premier in Australia Paula Shook declared on Thursday morning. The success has been attributed, in large part, to the efforts of firefighters and computer modeling of the blaze is past. The threat to Queensland was not over, however, the Premier said. More than 100 fires remained burning across Queensland on Thursday, fueled by strong winds, a heatwave and a long dry spell. Authorities have called the conditions unprecedented in Queensland. The evacuation of Gracemere was the first time a catastrophic fire warning, the highest level, had been issued in the state. What we experienced yesterday was off the charts, Ms. Paloshuk said. Nobody has recorded these conditions any time in the history of Queensland, and we are still not out of the woods. Unlike in Australia, it's drier south. Intense fire conditions are unusual in central Queensland in late November, typically the start of the wet season, but existing ideas about the threat periods are being challenged. Experts say there is always an amount of variability in fire seasons each year, but research is showing that fire seasons are lengthening, said Dr Richard Thornton, the chief executive of the Bushfire and the Natural Hazard Cooperative Research Center. It is now, to the extent that we are now, seeing a year-round fire season in Australia, Dr Samantha Lloyd, manager of the South East Queensland Fire and Biodiversity Consortium, said Central Queensland had experienced fires around this time previously. But what's concerning, she said, was that we just do not generally see this intensity of fire weather. Dr Lloyd noted that climate change modeling had pointed to increasingly frequent and severe weather events. We usually only have 1 to 2 extreme fire days in a year, and now we've had something like 3 to 4 in just a few days, she said.